My father was a U.S. diplomat stationed in Berlin. I spent most of my youth there. It was a beautiful city. I'd spent 4 years training at West Point before America joined the war. Now I was back in Berlin, recruited by the OSS because of my knowledge of the city and the language. The Russians' final onslaught had begun at dawn. It was only a matter of days before they would take Berlin completely. I was a sniper, one of an elite unit. Disguised as Germans, we each worked alone, assigned to the most difficult tasks, deep behind enemy lines. But strangely on this mission, the Germans were not my target. What was left of Hitler's military was rapidly falling to the overwhelming forces of our Russian allies. No, I was here because the OSS had learned the Soviet Secret Service, the NKVD, had mounted a top-secret operation aimed at obtaining Germany's atom bomb. If they gained the A-bomb, Stalin would use it to dominate Europe. This was an immense threat to the global balance of power, potentially even a greater threat than the Nazis. So I was here to assist the OSS's efforts to prevent the Soviets succeeding. With World War II not even over yet, I was now one of the first soldiers of a new war, the Cold War.
April 16th, 1945. The German fuel dump near the Berlin suburb of Karlshorst has been overrun and is now being used as the main NKVD forward outpost. Unfortunately, at dusk, a German panzer division heading to the front engaged a Russian tank brigade on the outskirts of town. Be advised, the remnants of this battle, including sporadic shelling, are still taking place. Your first goal is to rendezvous with our informant. He will be able to provide you with full intel on the fuel dump's layout, as well as suitable equipment to assist you. One more thing. For this entire operation, you and all our other agents will use the code phrase Eagle Watch to identify each other.
Hitler's war machine, once unstoppable, was now in the retreat. The Allies in the west and Russia in the east were squeezing the tattered remnants of the Reich in a vice-like grip. Germany's last hope lay in their wonder weapons. The V-2 rocket, a huge leap forward in the history of military technology. It was a weapon system to herald a new form of warfare. Inhuman. Faster than the speed of sound, it struck without warning. The Nazis launched over 3,000 rockets in a desperate attempt to reverse history. It was a terror weapon, pummeling Antwerp, Paris, and London. After the D-Day landings, their launch sites were overrun and pushed back out of range of England. But already, the Allies were looking to the future, to the next war. The Americans were gathering up the best of Germany's rocket scientists in the top-secret Operation Overcast. Many of the architects of the V-2 program had already been acquired, but not all. With Berlin encircled, Germany's last-ditch defense falling back block by block, and total defeat only days away, those scientists remaining in the city would soon be in Russian hands. My job was to make sure that didn't happen. Tobruk off a boat filled with replacements and reinforcements. Young men blindly rushing to their deaths. None of them are comfortable having someone like me around. Suits me fine. Most of them won't make it out of here alive. Rommel was kicked out during Operation Crusader, but Axis forces are once again sweeping across the western desert. The Gazala Gallop began with the Allied retreat, and Rommel is at the city's throat. There's no time for tactics. 35,000 of us have one order. Hold Tobruk.
Snipers! Snipers are needed the wall!
Trotzdem, lieber hier draußen als hier. Haha, Wunder, wie geht's?
My Führer, the war is lost. Surrender is our only option.
The fatherland will not fall! Execute Plan Z! This was supposed to protect us!
But, my Führer, we needed all three of them.
The Book of Souls predicted my ascent. The Hellmouth illuminates the righteous struggle before us. We stand on the brink of eternal power! Deputy, it is your duty, your honorable sacrifice! We are determined and united! World will be reborn from the ashes of our purifying flame! We will be relentless! The fatherland will never fall!
(1943). A world at war. A world in turmoil. We'd closed the trap on Hitler's North Africa campaign. But what next? Churchill urged an Allied invasion of Italy. Called the Mediterranean the soft underbelly of the crocodile. The Americans took some convincing, but Winston won them over. General Dwight D. Eisenhower, Allied Commander-in-Chief, is masterminding the entire Mediterranean strategy. As for me, I'm headed for San Celini, a secluded island to Italy's southwest. We've been losing ships in the area. British intelligence thinks the Luftwaffe's presence on San Celini might explain why. The Royal Navy dispatched a captured Italian freighter, the Orchidia, to investigate. She was equipped with the very latest radio interception equipment. The intelligence she gathered confirmed our worst fears. The Nazis have a new wonder weapon. Survivors from the destroyed ships have talked about a new kind of missile. Radio controlled from the plane that launched them, these rockets can track our ships with lethal accuracy. The Orchidia's job was to monitor Luftwaffe radio transmissions and find out what the Germans are up to. Even if that meant making the ultimate sacrifice. Now we need to know what the Nazis are planning, and how we can stop them. A member of the Luftwaffe's top brass is on the island. General Tobias Schmidt. It's no secret Hitler thinks highly of him. Schmidt would never let himself be taken alive. and he'd never betray his beloved Führer. But he might just be carrying some information we can use. My mission? Kill Schmidt. Kill all high-ranking officers. And get the hell out.
The Nazi war machine was on its last legs, hammered on all sides by Allied forces. After so much sacrifice, so much horror, it seemed the world would wake at last from its nightmare. Instead, Hitler woke the dead. The Allies didn't stand a chance. Hitler's trolls were tireless, numberless, merciless. They came from everywhere. Nowhere was safe. But we formed a resistance, and we fought on despite the odds. The Dead War, we called it. After months of brutal losses, a volunteer squad turned the tide. They cast Hitler into another world, cutting the head from the snake. And yet still the war rages. Even with no leader and no purpose, the dead roam the earth in swarms 1 million strong. And us? Well, we're taking the world back, one bullet at a time.
Fairburn. Captain says we'll be surfacing in 5. Clear on your orders?
We wait for air cover from our boys in the RAF. And once they start their raid, we use the distraction break on the beach. Your team destroys the coastal defenses to the west. I neutralize the defenses here, then proceed inland to rendezvous with Blue Viper at the safe house in town.
As quietly as possible. I don't want to come back to the beach and find the place crawling with Germans. If they spot the sub before you blow those guns, me and my team will be stuck here.
I can do quiet.
You'd better. All right, that's our cue. Okay, Fairburn. There are the searchlights. Show me what you can do.